Hey gang, today we're going to go over what I call an elegant slow-mo blues, which is straight blues with a little bit of a touch of jazz and jazz chords in there. And what's neat about it is it forces you to get a little bit out of that blues box and explore different scales. Now this time what we're going to do is explore the solo that I just played, and I do have the tab in the description, so you'll want to download that for sure as I go through this. But in a future lesson we'll actually cover the scales and the thinking behind the improvisation that you probably want to do when you're going through this, alright? So, here we go, note for note over this one. As always, if you like it, click the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do and get one of these every week. Okay, see you in just a second. Okay gang, we're going to go over this note for note now. If you haven't yet downloaded the tab, please do so, because even if you don't read tab, it has the chords on it, and you're going to want that. We'll go over the chords first, because they are a little bit different. The first, it starts out straight blues, so we're going to start out with like a C13th chord. You can just substitute a C7th if you want. That just sounds fine. Or I sometimes play a C6th to an F9th. Again, you can play an F7 if you want. Back to the one chord for 2 bars. Out of the 4 chord for 2 bars. That's an F9. C13. D minor 7th. E minor 7th. E flat minor 7th. E D minor 7th. G7th, C7th, F9th, C7th, G7th. Okay, so the end was a standard turnaround, the beginning was standard blues, but that middle part was different. It went from like a C, I'm going to play a C6th here, you can play a C13, doesn't really matter too much, to a D minor 7th, to an E minor 7th, to an E flat minor 7th, to a D minor 7th, to a G7th, and then we're back in the standard turnaround. But that middle part is the elegant part, is what I call the elegant part, and it's kind of jazzy, and that's where playing a standard blues scale just isn't really going to work for you. So as I said, we'll cover that in a future lesson, but right now let's just do the solo itself that I played. So, now that we know the chords, let's go over the solo. So here's the first part. This is played over this part right here. I'll play the part that's played over this. It's played over these sequence of chords. Okay? So here it is. I'll play it slowly. Starting from the 5th fret, 4th string, we're going to play 4 pickup notes. That happens before any chord is played. So 1, 2, 3. Alright? So here's the first part. Okay. So again, the first pickup notes are right here. Alright, and then we play a bend on there. And you'll want to kind of just leave that a little bit. You're playing around with a half and a quarter, and you're playing around between a half and a full bend, and you want to get it up to that full bend and then just slide it down. All right? Next line is this. Okay, so I'm sliding down to the 6th. It's kind of like a Larry Carlton or a Robben Ford maneuver. Anyway, that's where I learned it. Other people, they probably stole it from other people too. But you're sliding down to the note that you want. Okay? That last part right there is a sort of a 6th, and what we're doing is we're playing on the 5th string, 6th fret, we're playing that note and hammering on to the 7th, and then playing the C that's above it on the 3rd string, 5th fret, and letting them both ring out. Okay? Here's the next line, and this is played over the 4 chord, the F. Okay, that part. Okay, here it is. Okay, here we go. We're going to slide up to the 8th on the I'm sorry, the 10th fret on the 5th string, then play the 7th, and that's a little bit of a mixolydian type move instead of a blues scale, or mixolydian as my friend Steve Hall used to say. But anyway, we're going to play that. All right, then we're going to hit that and slide down. Now this is kind of fun. You're playing around with this bend here, and then giving it plenty of vibrato at the end. Now, you don't want to have that pick harmonic. Let me try that again. You see, you're just playing around with a full bend and then 0. And if you get a half in between there, no big deal. This is the blues. It isn't supposed to be perfect, right? So it's supposed to be, about milking that note, really. Okay? Then you've got a couple of fillers. First, a little common blues maneuver. So that's just hammering on 8th fret. We're going to hammer to the 11th, play the 8th on the 1st string, and then slide up from the 11th to the 13th, which is doubling this note on the 8th on the 1st fret. Okay, like so. Do it one more time because I messed up just a little bit. Okay, then we're going to play a filler. That's all that is. That's just a little pull off. 11, 8 on the 2nd, and then 10th on the 3rd. And then a standard blues line. Notice anytime I can do it, I'm giving some vibrato on it. Alright, so you have it on any of those. And whenever you hit this note, you want to give it a little bit of a tweak, of a bend, if you can. That playing around with the major and the minor is a big part of the blues playing. Alright, at least it is for me. Alright, so that's that. And now we're going to play the sequence that goes over this. And that's a sequence that starts out on that C13th right before the D minor, E minor 7, and so forth. So the first part comes at the end of the first line. That's over the C13 chord. Over the D minor 7th, we're going to play simply this slide right here. Now what's happened is you're going to essentially, from a bluesy sound to a kind of majory happy sound. If you know a little bit about that, you're going from either a dorian, a blues scale, or a mixolydian into an ionian. And C ionian is the same as a C major scale. So If you didn't get that, no problem. We're going to cover improvisation later on. You don't need to know it to play this solo. Okay, so the first part is on that D minor 7th. You're simply playing these two notes. E minor 7th, we're playing this. So we're sliding up 12th to 14th on the 3rd, playing the 12th to 14th on the 3rd, and playing the 12th on the 2nd. So over the F minor 7th. Over the E flat minor 7th, we're playing something slightly different. We're playing on the 2nd and 1st rings. Alright, so we're sliding from the 11th to 13th and playing the 11th on the 1st string. Alright, so we're playing then this to get to our next chord, which is the D minor 7th. Alright, and that's a transition back into that C Ionian or C major scale. Okay, a little sort of jazzy sound. Nice little arpeggiation there. That's over that D minor 7th, and then now we're going to our G 7th or G 9th. That's just another little filler there. We're playing from 16th to 15th to 13th on the 2nd and pulling it off really fast. That's just a little filler for the next notes. All right, so that whole bit where we're playing from this. All right, then we're back at the C. That whole bit is as follows. Alright, and then to go over the the last little lick is pretty straightforward. It's okay, so let's break that down a little bit. We're back out of that C Ionian scale and we're going into like a bluesy type scale. But anyway, we're playing 11th to 13th, and then here's our pull off again. So 11 to 10, real quick pull off. Notice we're going to pull up just a little bit on that 13th fret before we hit the 10th. And then finally, that right there, it's just very similar to what we played before. We're playing on the 4th string, we're playing the 8th, hammering onto the 9th, and then on the 2nd string we'll play the 8th. It's a little mini G major chord, or G 7th chord. Alright, and that is that. That's the whole solo. Hope you enjoyed this one. Now we've got one time through all 12 bars of the elegant slow-mo blues. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want the tab, please make sure to download it from the description, and we'll see you on down the road.